information session. It's going to be a short session. It's going to focus on the resources and tools available to support everyone here. Our goal is to make sure that you can join the community of practice for faith-based practice, and that you can have access to the practical guidance and support needed to fulfill the commitments that have been made over the last couple of days. It's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Joanne Henderson, who is the Associate Dean and Associate Professor of Global Health at Emory University. She's going to chair the session and guide us through the discussion of available resources. Joanne, the floor is yours. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. No need to be nervous. Yes, an academic has come with slides, but not with any harm, okay? Actually, because of my role in community wellness, I would love it if we could all just stand together for a minute. I'm also a former dancer, so if you would indulge me, let's do some shoulder rolls to the back, right? Loosen up a little bit, right? All the way to the back, 5, 6, 7, 8. How about to the front? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How about a neck roll? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How about a shake? No bumps, John, but shake. All right, and you know what? If we could, let's just take a community breath, because I feel like we've heard so much, and we're coming to the end of the time, and Jean's going to do a wonderful job in wrapping us all up. But if we can just breathe together, because we have so much to think about, so much to go back and figure out what we're going to do. So let's just spend this last moment together in breath. So if you will, just inhale to the beat of 4, hold it at the top, and then exhale to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale. Can we try it again? Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it. And exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you, friends. Please have your seats. And I'll bring my panelists up. If I can find Dr. Crunk, Dr. Apambire, and Tertullian, if you can join me so that we can move these folks on to the end of this time. Again, you've heard my name is Joanne Henderson. I'm from Emory University's Rollins School of Public Health, as well as the Center for Global Safe Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. I bring you greetings from the scholars, the research investigators, as well as the students at Emory who have had the privilege to work on the issue of washing healthcare facilities, and we've done the math for now 20 years. And so we have a deep, deep history with this work, and this gathering is just such a wonderful way to see some of the questions that we have struggled with come up in these meetings, and we look so forward to, I look forward personally to working with each and every one of you to talk, brainstorm, let's have conversations and see what we can work on together. So for my part of this session, my colleagues, which we have here, Dr. Ryan Crunk from the University of North Carolina, Dr. Brima Ampambire from Desert Research Institute, and Tertullian Mariga from Kenya Catholic Conference of Bishops. Together, we're going to share with you some of the pertinent resources that we think may be helpful as you move forward in your thinking, planning, and taking action in WASH and healthcare facilities. Each of them will talk about some of their work that they're doing in WASH, but from that lens of that possible resource or strategy. So I do have slides. So there are not very many, and I am working with Krista up there. There we go. I'm going to move through these very quickly, and the nice thing about being last is that all of the wonderful speakers before me have made my points. And so I do want to thank Maggie, if she's still in the room. I know she had to leave. Thank you so much, because I'm going to try to do my best in looking at the landscape of resources that are available to you to kind of organize them in 3 major pillars, just 3 things to walk away with from here in terms of what things you can use. And so information, learning and sharing networks, and then training, okay? And so the nice thing about information is that Maggie has done a great job. If you would give me the next slide. Next slide. Yes, if you remember nothing else from this meeting, please, please, you don't have to remember it. Just take your tag home with you. The QR code in the back that points you to the Washington Healthcare Facilities, washnhcf.org website. I will not repeat the wonderful job that Maggie has already done in explaining the work that WHO and others have done to create this magnificent platform where so many of us have contributed our work. I know at Emory, we have done everything that we could to just put up everything that we have been working on, all of our tools, our research papers, every report, pictures, everything that we could find is on this platform. And I know the QR code takes you to the faith-based page, but if you go ahead and pull down that menu, you'll find the resources tab, and you'll see it has resources, a YouTube channel, and newsletters, right? And so much more with that. And if you go ahead, Krista, to that next slide, you'll find tools and assessments. So you heard from Maggie about WASH Fit, guidelines, monitoring indicators. You'll find toolkits that you can use for advocacy, and then case studies and reports, which are so important to us, to be able to see and read through some of the work that others have been doing in this. And one of the examples that I want to show in terms of a resource on the website, you've heard this over and over again. Again, I won't repeat it all, about the Catholic Church Initiative and the 150 healthcare facilities that were assessed. So that assessment tool is actually on this website. So if you want to take a look at it, it's 25 questions. And with that assessment tool is also a very handy document that's called the WASH Survey Gap Recommendations. And it's basically a map of several next steps that you can take depending on the outcome of, different respective sections of this particular assessment. And the example that I have here is in the water section, and it's divided in two ways. You'll see a little algorithm, if you will, in terms of based on your findings from that survey, major issues, which we know will require more planning, more funding, more thinking in order to bring it to pass. But if you hit it again for me, Krista, that next list that is available to you is called the minor issues. And these are the things that can be done with little to no finances and resources. Really, really helpful in terms of on where you are in this process to see whether or not you can address the major issues, the minor issues, or some combination. And so really helpful tool if you have not thought about assessments, to take a look at that and see if this can be something that's useful for you. One of the points I want to make about this website is that it is not static or final. It is dynamic and open to growth. And so you've heard us over and over say that if you have stories, if you have case studies, if you feel this list is entirely too short, that you have managed to do much more minor things without many resources or minimal resources, and you want to extend this list, reach out to us so that we can update this so that others can learn. So that's really the goal of this website. The next pillar is on learning and sharing. This is all about engagement. What we've been doing over these last 2 days, finding, building community, connecting with each other, knowing that we're not alone in each of our questions, our quandaries, trying to figure out, have you done this before? How have you addressed this particular issue around water, et cetera? Ryan is going to take much more time talking in depth about the community of practice, both the umbrella one on Washington Healthcare Facilities, as well as the subgroups that are available for you to join and be a part of. We also have newsletters and listservs. Again, going back to the website, you can go right to the website and register your email, and you can sign up and be a part of that listserv that sends out frequent updates on what's going on. Again, some of the resources that Maggie shared, each time a new resource comes out, you'll get a ping through that, there you are, through that listserv of what's going on. And so it's a nice way to keep up to date, as well as just newsletters of information on things that have been going on over the last several years. And then conferences and events we put on here, and I talk about this in two ways. So one, some of us, someone mentioned that we all seem to know each other, or many of us know each other. We do try to gather at our conferences, and for the WASH people at the WASH conference that University of North Carolina puts on each year. HAP, we have visited the conference that they have had. We've heard Rotary, WASRAG have had conferences. These are times that if you know that we're all going. Let's gather together and see what you're doing and how we can continue to encourage each other in Washington healthcare facilities. But I also encourage you, and we heard some of this earlier on yesterday, some of you have your own conferences that you put on, that you are the head of and that you lead. Find one of us. Let's have a meeting at your meeting, if you will. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to do it all on your own. There's so many of us here that would be willing, even if it's coming in virtually, to share with your own networks and your groups whatever it is that you feel would be most pertinent and relevant to that group to, again, continue to sensitize, raise awareness, build capacity, whatever it is that you think is appropriate. So think about conferences and gathering together in two ways, okay? Again, networks, communities of practice, they are not final, they are not static. I will say for my friend Ryan here that always open to hearing about specialized subgroups that could be helpful to you as you think about, well, you know, you may have something on chlorine right now or water quality, but we want something on healthcare waste management. And we want to build that group and working with Ryan and others to figure out what communities would make the most sense. And then the last pillar is on training. There are courses, there are always courses, right? Some require fees, many do not. So in terms of courses that are available that may have some fees, but actually we have WashFit here that does not include any kind of fees. The use of tools like WashFit, the WHO Academy is available. We have courses on strategies such as the circuit writing course, and circuit writing in general, which we have heard about, and we now have the circuit writing person here to talk to you about what that strategy is and certainly the resources that go with it. And then we at Emory also offer a course really on program development. We've been doing this for about 6 years. We have in-person and self-learning, self-paced courses that you can take. Again, come and talk with us about needs that you have for training. And then also there is training in the public domain. So please do not skip over YouTube. Okay, we have spent a lot of time putting videos together, taking our webinars, creating YouTube channels. You'll find one on the WHO website. We have others that are running through UNC, Emory, et cetera. Look at YouTube and so many of the experts and specialists that have had opportunities to share with you their knowledge, their learnings on Washington healthcare facilities that are publicly available and easy to consume. So please take advantage of that. So, in summary, see, all done, right? 3 pillars. I'm not even going to read this slide. Just these 3 things that you consider as we all talk about what happens on the day after. Loved hearing that people wanted to make sure that you go through that directory, start taking down some names and contacting people. But then if you say, okay, well, what's after that? Hopefully, one or more of these tools will help you to think about what are you going to do in terms of your planning? Do you need more work with advocacy? Do you just have to convince people a bit more? Is it an issue of capacity in terms of those who you work with, really understanding how to build programs? I think one or more of these resources can be helpful to you. And so with that, I will turn to my colleagues and pass it off first to Ryan Crunk from the Water Institute at the University of North Carolina, who will talk to us about communities of practice.
Well, thanks, Joanne, and it's been great to be with you all. I know I'm filled to the brim with information and excitement about next steps. So I'm going to give you some things to take home, some digital party favors, digital goodie bag, which is your QR code, so don't lose that. And this will get you everything that we've Joanne just explained, and I'm going to talk about a bit more. So, as Joanne mentioned, the Water Institute, of which I'm a part at UNC, chairs not one, but actually 2 relevant communities of practice, one on Washington healthcare facilities, and a brand new one on WASH circuit writing, which we'll hear more about circuit writing from our 2 experts who are going to follow me. But these communities of practice really seek to bring together folks like you, practitioners, researchers, policymakers, experts, to learn and train from each other and learn about the latest things and programs and research that's coming out. So if you have, many of you in the room have presented, and if you have not, I have all of your emails, so please go ahead and volunteer before being voluntold. We want to hear all of your stories, all of your great work, and make sure that gets out to the broader community. We also want to be a place to connect. So we heard from many in the room, we need more time than our 2 minutes to connect. So this is a great way to get plugged in, both at a high level through our larger webinars, but also through our smaller working groups. And these are, as Joanne mentioned, one of which we have is on FBOs, I'll talk about in a second. These are smaller technical working groups that are seeking to achieve common goals to advance strategic agendas within healthcare facilities and circuit writing. And then finally, obviously, as Joanne did a great job explaining, we want to help you connect with all the latest technical resources. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's so many great resources produced by WHO, UNICEF, many of you in the room. That is WashingtonHCF.org as your one-stop shop for everything that you can need. So we've developed UNC and the Water Institute has developed a multi-year strategy for both of these communities, and so we commit to supporting you and other allies in several ways. For the healthcare facility community of practice, we're going to continue with our high-level webinars on topics of interest. So we want to hear from you on what you want to hear about. Things like one of our most popular webinars was on pharmaceutical waste management. So even niche topics are fair game. So get in touch with us. We also, as I mentioned, we organize several working groups. We're launching a new faith-based organization working group, and the goal of that is to help document success stories, enablers, barriers, of all the great work that's going on, and we want to report that back out to the community through stories and bigger evidence products. We're also committed, again, as I mentioned, we're committed to sharing technical resources. We do not want to reinvent the wheel. And then to connect at a deeper level. These working groups are a great way to do that. And for our circuit writer community of practice, similarly, we've just launched a new webinar series. We had our second one last week. We've got more coming up. These our working groups have also, in the circuit writer group, have already launched. One is led by Dr. Nancy Gilbert on indicators for measuring impact and sustainability in circuit writer programs. So lots of great stuff going on. Again, you can scan your QR code, learn more, sign up for our mailing list. We will give you all the information in our MailChimp emails. So in closing, please sign up. Join our next healthcare facilities webinar is actually in just a few weeks on May 5th on evidence, which is great. Many of you asked about research. We already have a webinar lined up on that. So please don't miss that. And we also want you to reach out if you have technical assistance needs. We can connect you with many experts. If your organization's new to WASH and healthcare facilities, we can connect you, do an introductory webinar. If you're more advanced and you want to have some other specialized topics for your team, just let us know. And then again, these are bottom-up communities. We want ideas to be driven by you. So in the hallways, I think I've had about a dozen really excellent pitches for working groups and other ideas, and so we're really looking forward to implementing those. And finally, all of our webinars are free. Several people thought that you had to pay to join them. They're all free. They're archived on YouTube at the website that Joanne mentioned, and so please be sure to catch up on any content you may have already missed. So we really look forward to connecting with you and supporting you. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, I want to start by thanking the organizers. It's given us an opportunity to connect and also to see the Vatican. I'm a Catholic, I've never been here, but it's given us an opportunity. So I would want to just give the basics of the circuit writer methodology. We don't have a lot of time here. But the slide there is very busy. I'm not going to go through it, but you can look at it, and it will be available. But the circuit writer methodology was developed in the US in 1980. And this was launched by the National Rural Water Association. And the rationale for it was to help, sustain small water systems in the US. And the circuit riders are a group of trained technicians who go around to water systems to catch problems before they become worse. So they don't wait until the system is broken down, then they call on them. But each is responsible for about 30 to 40 systems, and they go on a regular basis. Some people will explain it to be a circuit, like the electrical circuit, but I think the original meaning is either to serve as a judge, a helper to that small community. So the Desert Research Institute has adopted this. We also provide a lot of training in WASH and conduct research around WASH and the environment. So through the Wallace Genetic Foundation and other funders, we started the Sekurare program in Ghana. And then we have a program in Honduras. We had one in Chile, but that is ended. So, and then there are different models to it. So we don't have time to go through this, but I'll also point to some resources. And if you want to contact us, and eventually it will also be put on, our COP website. So what we have done in Ghana is to train, technicians, and then they go around. Some of them are operating on business models. We don't pay them. They have to generate money. But we have to make sure that we facilitate a process that they are able to do that. And through the lessons that we learned, then DRI Transform and our partners, you heard our partner Nancy mention it, is a program being run by the Desert Research Institute, Transform, and DAMRA in northern Malawi. So we've now, remodeled this Sekurare methodology to address washing healthcare facilities. And then we introduced what we call the quality of care Securiders. So they are being paired. We have a technical Securider, a quality of care Securider. Whereas the technical ones are dealing with the infrastructure development, and then also incinerators. Somebody talked about that. We address that in water quality is a very big thing that we address. And then the quality of care will deal with IPC and all the software issues that Nancy talked about. We have accumulated quite some resources. DRI, we have up to about 26 training modules that begin with the basics of, the Sekurare methodology through business planning, procurement, and all that. These can be made available to anybody. There are about 25 to 26 resources modules for training. They range from 3 to 5 days of training. So they are available in a lot of topics. Our Sekurare model also in Malawi, we have some documents that are coming up that can easily be replicated in other programs. DRI also has a background and design document about how you actually create a Sekurare program, so this will also be available. In terms of our commitment, I've already mentioned that DRI is willing to share the resources. We also want to expand technical training. We have people on the ground who train the Securiders. So they are not sitting in the US, but they are in Ghana, they are in Malawi, and then they are in Honduras, very qualified people. So we are happy to partner with people here. And then work in faith-based healthcare facilities. We're already doing that in Malawi, where we work in 18 healthcare facilities, 7 of them being faith-based organizations. We want to partner with staff in healthcare facilities, sisters, local leaders to manage and sustain water systems. One of the things I just want to also add is that we don't train only the Securiders, but we train healthcare facility staff, district staff, and we have a way of doing this so that the systems, the programs are sustainable. So again, it has been nice connecting with all of you, and we look forward to working with all of you. We have a, DRI too, we have a commitment in the UNC website, the commitment site, so you can read more about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brahima. That was quite informative, and it's my pleasure to be here. I'm Tertullian, working for the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops. Let me begin by a moment from the field. I remember visiting a rural health facility in an arid area. This is a facility that is in one of the harsh areas in Kenya. the nurse in charge told us, when the water stops, everything stops. Deliveries become risky, hygiene suffers, and even simple care becomes difficult. At the time, the issue wasn't a major breakdown, just a small fault in the water system, but it had taken weeks without a solution. This is the reality in many of the facilities we serve. To address this gap, we introduced a circuit riding model, as Brima has mentioned. Instead of waiting for systems to break down, together with trained technicians, we regularly move from one facility to another, inspecting systems, carrying out preventive maintenance, and mentoring staff. When we returned to the same facility after 4 months, things had changed. Small things were being fixed early. Staff had been trained to identify and respond to risks before they escalated. The nurse told us, now we don't wait for water to stop, we prevent it. That shift from reacting to preventing is the power of circuit riding. Across the 28 facilities supported by the Decastry, we have reached about 3 million people through improved wash services. We have drilled boreholes, installed and repaired water systems, and improved sanitation, and even trained healthcare staff. But more importantly, we are ensuring these systems continue to work day in, day out. This approach has taught us few key lessons. First, preventive maintenance is far more effective and affordable than emergency repair. Secondly, building the capacity of health workers creates ownership and faster response at the facility level. Third, decentralized technical support is essential, especially in remote and underserved regions. And finally, consistency matters. Regular follow-up is what turns infrastructure into reliable service. But this journey is not without challenges. The scale is vast. Reaching remote facilities requires time, resources, and coordination. We still face a shortage of skilled technicians to cover all facilities consistently. Sustaining financing for maintenance remains a key concern. And in arid and semi-arid regions, harsh environment conditions, drought, salinity continue to strain water systems. These are real challenges and they require long-term commitment. Because a health facility without water is not just inconvenient, it is unsafe. It puts mothers, newborns, and patients at risk. Circuit riding helps us move from simply building infrastructure to sustaining essential health services. Our goal at the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops is to scale up this approach to all our facilities so that every patient, every health worker can rely on safe water and sanitation. As it says in John chapter 4, verse 14, the water I give them will become a spring of water, welling up to eternal life. For us, this is not just about systems, it's about protecting life every single day. Thank you.
Aren't you glad you made it? So thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Ryan, Brima, Tertullian. Hopefully you'll have some opportunity to share more with everyone after the break. Thank you again for your time and attention.
Thank you, Joanne. Ryan, I love your phrase, digital party favors, and to say that is all that we have with you is such an understatement. What a treasure chest of resources. Thank you all to the panel.